Lost Spring, Stories of a Stolen Childhood, written by Anees Jung. About the author. Anees Jung was born in 1944 in Rourkela, Odisha. She belongs to an aristocratic family. Her father, Nawab Hoshiar Jung, was a scholar, poet, and served as the Musahib, which means advisor, to the last Nizam, which means Prince of Hyderabad state. Her mother is also an Urdu poet. After schooling and college at Osmania University in Hyderabad, she went to the United States for higher studies and completed her master's in sociology and American studies. Jung's writing career began with the Youth Times, a Times of India publication, where she worked as a journalist and editor. She published her travel diary, Unveiling India, in 1987. This work, Breaking the Silence, which came out in 1997, is based on conversations with women from around the world. The present chapter is an excerpt from her book, Lost Spring, Stories of a Stolen Childhood. Theme or central idea of the story. The central idea of this story, Lost Spring, Stories of a Stolen Childhood, revolves around the lives and aspirations of impoverished children growing up in challenging circumstances in various parts of India. The narrative highlights their struggles, dreams, and the harsh realities they face. The story begins with the author's encounter of Sahib, a young boy searching for valuable items in garbage dumps, and the narrator's attempt to understand his life choices. Sahib's family had to leave their rural home in Dhaka, Bangladesh, due to natural disasters, pushing them to a life of poverty and scavenging in the city. The narrative explores the gap between promises and the harsh realities of life in poverty-stricken areas. The story also introduces Mukesh, who aspires to be a motor mechanic despite working in hazardous conditions in the glass-blowing industry. It sheds light on the cyclical nature of poverty, lack of opportunities, and the persistence of traditional occupations. Ultimately, the story underscores the resilience and dreams of the children who, despite facing tremendous challenges and societal limitations, hold on to their aspirations for a better future. It highlights the need for social change and Ultimately, the story underscores the resilience and dreams of the children who, despite facing tremendous challenges and societal limitations, hold on to their aspirations for a better future. It highlights the need for social change and opportunities for these marginalized children to break free from the cycles of poverty and pursue their dreams. The two stories, Sahib's and Mukesh's. Sahib's story. The story, The Lost Spring by Anees Jung, is a poignant narrative that revolves around the life of a young boy named Sahib, who is a rag picker in the town of Simapuri on the outskirts of Delhi, India. Now look at this paragraph once again, and can you find out another word for the word poignant here? What do you mean by the phrase a poignant narrative? Before we move ahead, okay, I am giving you some words for this word. Poignant means affecting, Poignant means emotional. Poignant means you can say upsetting, or you can say touching, or other word that you can use for poignant is you can also say sentimental. Now look at the second paragraph. Sahib's life is defined by poverty and hardship. He and his family, who originally hail from Dhaka. What do you mean by the word hail? Come from Dhaka, Bangladesh, live in abject poverty as undocumented immigrants. What do you mean by undocumented here? Undocumented means illegal. Illegal, in your story you will find a word, what is that? Squatters. So they are undocumented immigrants in Simapuri. His father, like many others, came to India in search of a better life. Hope there is no problem in this part. Now look at the next part. Sahib, a symbol of innocence and resilience. What do you mean by the word resilience? One who fights back, one who tries to recover from shock or situations. This quality is called resilience. So Sahib, a symbol of innocence and resilience, spends his days rummaging through. So look at the word rummage. What do you mean by rummaging through? This phrase means searching through. Means Sahib has been shown searching through the garbage dumps in the narrator's neighborhood. So rummaging through means searching through. Sahib, a symbol of innocence and resilience, spends his days rummaging through the garbage dumps of Simapuri, collecting recyclables. Recyclables means plastic or anything made of metal, to earn a meager income. What do you mean by meager income? Very low income, scanty income. Despite the harsh conditions and the discrimination he faces as a migrant, he still carries a spark of hope. What is that? He aspires to go to school and dreams of a better life. So this is his aspiration. He wants to go to school and dreams of a better life. Means at the start of the story, when the narrator asks, why doesn't he go to school? Then he says he will go to school once they build one. And when she says that, if I build a school, will you come? He says yes. So it shows his aspiration. But his family's economic circumstances force him to continue working. Now let us move ahead further in this part of the story. Sahib's story highlights the systemic issues of poverty. Systemic issues of poverty. What do you mean by the word systemic? It's not systematic. There is difference between systemic and systematic. So far as systematic is concerned, when do we say systematic? Systematic means organized, or you can say orderly. You can say other word that can be used, organized, you can say, or you can say well ordered. But when we talk about systemic, so far as the word systemic is concerned, it is different from the word systematic. Systemic means, you can note down, affecting the entire system is called systemic. So systematic means organized, ordered, arranged, and systemic means affecting the entire system. The substitute words that can use for systemic is integral, or you can say elemental. Elemental word can also go for it. You can also use the word fundamental. Now look at the paragraph that we were discussing. So Sahib's story highlights the systemic issues of poverty, lack of education, and the exploitation of marginalized communities. Sahib's plight represents the countless children in India who are denied the opportunities they deserve due to circumstances beyond their control. Now, Anees Jung's portrayal of Sahib's story serves a powerful reminder of the harsh realities faced by many unprivileged children in India, urging readers to reflect on. What do you mean by the word reflect on? Reflect on means think back, or you can say cogitate, another difficult standard word. You can use, then again you can say, so far as reflect is concerned, when you think deeply, this is a good phrase. So you can say, so far as this word is concerned, reflect on can also mean, reflect can also means go over again, or you can say call to mind, or you can say look back on. So Anees Jung's portrayal of Sahib's story serves as a powerful reminder of the harsh realities faced by many unprivileged children in India, urging readers to reflect on the socio-economic disparities that persist in the country. Now, after we have studied, or we have come to know Sahib's story, let us understand Mukesh's story. And after understanding his story, you will be able to understand the entire chapter. So have a look at the first paragraph. So Mukesh, a boy of about 14, hails from a family of traditional bangle makers family from Firozabad, a place renowned for bangles. So renowned for bangles, that means famous for bangles. This question may come in your exam. Like his parents, like means Mukesh's parents. So like his parents, Mukesh is trapped in the vicious cycle of poverty and child labor. We will come to know in the story how. So he spends his day in a small, dimly lit room, working tirelessly to blow glass bangles. The room is filled with the scorching heat of the furnace and the constant inhalation. What do you mean by the word inhalation? When you take in breath or oxygen from outside, it is called inhale. And when you leave out oxygen from your stomach, or you can say through lungs, that is called exhale. So, and the constant inhalation of glass dust takes a toll on his health. So what does the phrase takes a toll means? Takes a toll means affects his health badly, or you can say adversely. Now look at the next paragraph. Mukesh's family is caught in the exploitative grip of the glass blowing industry. Good phrase. Caught in the exploitative grip. What do you mean by the word exploitative? That tends to exploit. That tends to force you work under coercion, or you can say persuasion, or you can say under pressure. So that is called exploitative. Grip means clutch. Glass blowing, that means bangle making industry. Where they earn meager wages. What do you mean by the word meager wages? Very scanty, low income or low wages for their strenuous work. Strenuous means hard work, onerous work, tiring work. Despite his harsh circumstances, Mukesh harbors dreams of escaping life of hardship and pursuing his dream of becoming a car mechanic. So despite all challenges means despite coming from a poor family, despite what you can say, despite different types of challenges that he has to face with no opportunities available for him. So despite all these hardships, he harbors dreams. That means he wishes, he desires, okay, to become a car mechanic. So this is his aspiration, this is his dream. Let us move on to the author's part. Anees Jung's portrayal of Mukesh's story. So Anees Jung's portrayal of Mukesh's story highlights the prevalence of child labor. The child labor is prevalent in that city and the lack of opportunities for education among impoverished communities. Impoverished means poor, downtrodden, marginalized. You can use these words. In India, it also highlights the resilience. Resilience means the ability, the quality to rise up from hardships. And determination. Determination means strong will, steely willpower. That is called determination. We can use the word resoluteness also. But resolute will not be a very good word. I think it should be strong willpower if you use. Like Mukesh, who yearn for a better future. Yearn for means wish for, dream to be, or wish to do. So yearn for a better future despite the odds stacked against them. Odds, that means challenges stacked working against him. So despite problems, challenges working against him, Mukesh dreams to become a motor mechanic, or dreams of becoming a motor mechanic. Mukesh's story serves as a powerful reminder of the urgent need to address the issue of child labor and provide access to education for marginalized children. So this story gives a message that the issue of the child labor should be addressed and opportunities should be provided, opportunities for education, for learning, for employment should be provided to such children. And then what happens? The next phrase. Readers are compelled to reflect on the challenges faced by millions of children in India and around the world who are denied their fundamental right. Fundamental right is a right to education, right to opportunities, to a childhood and an education. So this is the story of Mukesh, and when you put together the story of Sahib and story of Mukesh, you can easily understand what this chapter is talking about. And let us now talk about the entire chapter in detail. So now, after we have already understood the story of Sahib and Mukesh, let us understand the entire text, and I will be telling you from where your maximum questions are likely to be asked. Fine? So without spending much time, let us understand the story. Lost Spring, stories of stolen childhood, understanding the story in detail. So when you open your book, the first part of the story begins with this line. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. This is the starting part of the first story. Now, I have given the presentation the keywords so that you can understand the text without spending much time. So in this part, the opening part of the story, the author observes Sahib rummaging through garbage dumps every morning. Pronounce the word rummage. R-U-M-M-A-G-E. Rummage through means search through. Search through garbage dumps every morning. So in this part of the story, these 4 keywords have been mentioned by the author. Sahib, a young boy, is seen scrounging for gold in garbage dumps. Scrounging for means searching for. Another word, rummaging through. So I am giving you 2 good words, 2 good phrases. Here gold, the word gold stands for something valuable. Here something valuable stands for, say, some plastic bottle, some item of metals. These refers to gold word. The narrator asks Sahib why he does this. And Sahib explains that he has nothing else to do. His family left, this paragraph is talking about, his family left their home in Dhaka. Left their home in Dhaka, the first paragraph will talk about. due to storms and migrated to the big city. Here big city refers to Simapuri, a place adjacent to Delhi. I have been to that place. Now, so this paragraph you can pause the video and read it, and this is the question that may come in your exam. I am showing this question so that you can understand how an exam perfect question should be written. Why does Sahib rummage through the garbage dump in the neighbor's neighborhood? Sahib rummages through, I have already mentioned, searches through. Sahib searches through the garbage dump in the narrator's neighborhood because his family, displaced by storms in Dhaka, lives in extreme poverty in Simapuri. Searching for valuables in the garbage is a desperate means of survival, providing the possibility of finding something valuable amidst the refuge to support his family. Here the word refuge, not refuge, that will be different. Refuse, z. So this refuse refers to garbage. This is the first paragraph. Now let us move to the next presentation part, the second part. The author's hollow promise to Sahib. So when in this part of the story, the narrator advises Sahib to go to school. Sahib reveals there is no school in his neighborhood, and the narrator jokingly offers to start a school, and Sahib agrees. So in this part of the paragraph, in this part of the story, you will come to see that the narrator says that she will build a school and asks Sahib if she builds school, will he attend? And he agrees. And after a few days, she finds that he is coming running to her. So this part, so that was a promise which was not meant to be fulfilled. So she feels embarrassed, she feels humiliated that she made such a promise which was not meant to be kept. So this is the unfulfilled promise. A few days later, as I told you, Sahib asks the narrator, the author, if the school is ready. The narrator admits it takes time to build a school. Sahib's hope is dashed. This is the key point. The narrator feels embarrassed at having made a promise not meant to be kept. So this is the part, and you can pause the video over here. You can pause this video and then you can refer back to the next part. Let me go to next part. Where is that? Yeah. The lives of barefoot boys. This part of the story is talking about the lives of barefoot boys. What happens over here? The narrator interacts with other barefoot boys. They share reasons for not wearing shoes and the desire for them. The narrator reflects on the tradition of walking barefoot. So in this part of the story, you will see that the narrator, Anees Jung here, is talking to an army of barefoot boys who come to her neighborhood every day in order to search through the garbage dumps, and they do not have chappals or shoes on their feet. So she asks this question, why aren't you wearing chappals? And entire team of the rag pickers give different types of explanations. But finally she understands this part summarizes her thought, this one. I wonder if this is only an excuse to explain away a perpetual state of poverty. Perpetual state, that means permanent, unchangeable state of poverty. Then moving ahead on to next part is this, a question. Why do you think children walking barefoot do not wear chappals? And answer is this. I have already told you, whatever question I have given you, you must read it once, twice, thrice, because these are exam perfect questions. Children like Sahib roam the streets barefoot due to their impoverished circumstances. Poverty, lack of access to basic necessities like shoes, and a tradition of going barefoot in some cases compel these underprivileged children to navigate their harsh environments without footwear. My goodness. This phrase, navigate their harsh environments without footwear. So here, navigate means walk through, harsh means tough, rough. Environment refers to the streets, the places where they visit, and without foot. Sometimes ChatGPT, sir, does not go according to me. So I keep such kind of phrases so that you may get baffled how intelligent I am, but unfortunately I am not. Unfortunately I am not. All these are meharbani of one Baba. That Baba you can also use. Anyway, Baba cannot give you the brain. The brain has to be from here. Fine. So let us move on to the next presentation part. The story of a man from Udupi, Karnataka. Let me present this. Udupi is a town in Karnataka, India. It's known for its historic temples. Historic temples. Yeah, Udupi is known for historic temples. As a young boy, the man from Udupi prayed for a pair of shoes. This story is a beautiful story. You can read this part of the story. So as a young boy, the man from Udupi prayed for a pair of shoes. His prayer was granted, and now he wears shoes. The narrator visits Udupi and learns about an intriguing story from the local man. What is the substance? What is the summary? The author shows a contrast between a fulfilled prayer for shoes and the persistent poverty of children like the rag pickers in her neighborhood. So this part of the story can be summarized by these keywords that I have. And here, an air of desolation is a good phrase, which means had become an empty and desolate. Desolate word means abandoned and sad. Now let us move ahead into the story. A glimpse of Simapuri. Yeah. So Simapuri is a place. This part of the story is talking about Simapuri. Simapuri is a locality on the outskirts of Delhi. Why has Anees Jung included this part of the story, or why is she taking Simapuri? The next part. The narrator introduces Simapuri, a place inhabited by squatters. What do you mean by the word squatters? Squatters means illegal migrants, and from here it is from Bangladesh. Sahib's family is one of them. Sahib family is an illegal migrant from Bangladesh living in Simapuri. Sahib's family is one of them. Simapuri is characterized by poverty, lack of identity, and makeshift living conditions. So this point must be memorized by you. The narrator explores how rag picking is a way of life for the residents. Yeah. So in that part of Delhi, Simapuri, rag picking is a way of life for residents. For children like Sahib, garbage is a source of wonder and hope. For adults, it's a means of survival. Sahib watches people playing tennis, expressing his interest in the game. He confesses to sneaking into. What do you mean by the phrase sneaking into? Sneaking into means entering an area, a place, somewhere without being noticed. That is sneaking into. Despite his circumstances, Sahib has dreams and aspirations. So, despite his circumstances, what are the circumstances? He is living in Simapuri, where poverty is prevalent. He comes from such a family background which is underprivileged, which does not have income to source, means such income that they can send the children to school. Despite all these circumstances, despite all these odds and situations, challenges, Sahib has dreams and aspirations. What are these dreams and aspirations? These dreams and aspirations are becoming educated is one dream, though. So this part of this paragraph is very important, and I have given here the explanation. You can check it. You can pause the video, read the entire part, and here again I have given two questions. What does the author mean to say that Simapuri, though located on the periphery of Delhi, is miles away metaphorically? This question may come. The author suggests that Simapuri, despite its physical proximity means nearness, closeness to Delhi, is metaphorically distant due to the extreme poverty, lack of basic amenities, and the marginalized existence of its residents, who live in dire conditions as rag pickers and squatters. I think it has been too much for you to digest, so let me explain it further. Let me give you simpler explanation. What can be simpler explanation? So far as Delhi is concerned, it is India's capital, which is symbol you can say, which is a symbol of prosperity, which is symbol of India's wealth, India's growing economic muscle. I can use the word economic muscle. And recently India has sent its Chandrayaan 3 to the moon. But just under its nose, just beside it, is Simapuri, which is a contrast of Delhi. Why? Because of this. So I think you must have understood the meaning here. In the context of the given passage, in what way is garbage gold to rag pickers? Towards the end of the passage, one part in the context of the story, garbage is gold to the rag pickers of Simapuri, because they extract recyclable materials from it, providing their primary source of income. This income allows them to buy food and essentials, supporting their families, making it more valuable to them than the beautiful but resource-scarce lands they left behind. If the language is a little standard, if you find that sentences are very, complex, you can simplify it always. But if simplified sentences are given, then you will always try to remain simplified only. In what way does garbage have different meanings to rag picking children? This is very important question, and it has been asked. Garbage has different meanings for children and elders in Simapuri. For children, it holds a sense of wonder and occasional discovery of valuables like coins. In contrast, for elders, it represents a means of survival, as they rely on it for the livelihood by collecting recyclables. So every time recyclables is being used. Now, in this part of the story, we are going to have the end of this part. Sahib is now employed at a tea stall nearby. He carries a steel canister in his hand. He earns 800 rupees and receives all his meals at the tea stall. He no longer wears the carefree expression he once did. The contrast between his past and present is evident. His plastic bag was a symbol of his freedom. The steel canister belonging to the tea shop owner highlights how he has lost his independence and autonomy. Let us not use the word autonomy. It should be freedom. So sometimes what happens, if a copy pasted answer is given, then suddenly it strikes the mind that this word should be changed. So you must know how to change the word. So towards the end of the first part of the story, we see that so far as Sahib is concerned, he is shown working at a tea stall owner where he is paid 800 rupees and all the meals. But one change comes in his life. What is that change? That change is the bag was a symbol of his freedom, and the steel canister that he is holding in his hand is a symbol of his, what should I say? Not slavery, loss of freedom, you can say. Loss of freedom. Loss of independence, yeah. Loss of independence and freedom. So this is the story of the first part. Now, can we quickly move? You just look at this question, pause the video and read it carefully. After this, let us move on to the story of Mukesh. Now, look at the second part of the story. That is Mukesh's dream. And this part of the story begins with this line, this small line. I want to drive a car. I want to drive a car. So, Mukesh's dream, what is that? Look at the key sentences. Mukesh insists on being his own master and wants to become a motor mechanic. The author asks if he knows anything about cars, to which Mukesh replies that he will learn to drive a car. The story is set in Firozabad, which is famous for its bangles, where most families are engaged in bangle making. I have already discussed it in the introductory part, so there is no need to repeat. Now you pause the video and wherever I have seen that there are difficult phrases and sentences where you will feel difficulty in understanding, I have provided the explanation, so you can pause and write down. Now the next part of this story is talking about Mukesh's family. Mukesh's family is also involved in bangle making, a traditional occupation in Firozabad. Child labor in glass furnaces is illegal, but Mukesh and many other children work there. So in this part of the story, Anees Jung is highlighting the menace, the problem, what other word I am not getting proper word. Menace is okay. Menace, problem, issue can be other word of child labor. Mukesh's grandmother talks about, now this also talks about what members of family think about this occupation, traditional occupation. What do they think? So there are contrasts. There are contrasts, in opinions. Mukesh's father, feels proud of his achievement. He feels that, unlike others, he has at least got a housemate or a roof constructed over the head of the family. But while his wife says that ek waqt sher par khana bhi nahi khaya. So there are two different contrasting opinions. Okay, so Mukesh's grandmother talks about their destiny as bangle makers and passed down through generations. You can pause the video and study it as per your convenience. All the explanations are given. Now let us talk about the third part. Mukesh's grandmother's God-fearing views. Mukesh's grandmother says the conditions as one's karam or destiny. Karam, whatever is there in your fate, in your destiny, that is called karam. So she thinks that these problems, this poverty is in their destiny. It is God-given lineage. And because it is God-given, so she thinks that it cannot be broken because it is God-given. And every house in Firozabad has seen nothing else but bangles. From the elderly to children, all are engaged in this family business. So this is his grandmother's opinions. Now moving on to the next presentation part. Another character is Savita, introduced in the story, Savita and significance of bangles. Savita is a young girl who also works on bangles, but without understanding the significance of bangles. Bangles symbolize a woman's auspiciousness in marriage. Let us talk about this topic a little in detail. So you must have seen women in our society putting on bangles on their wrist. So these bangles, these glass bangles, symbolize auspiciousness in marriage. These bangles are considered to be auspicious, holy, good. The old woman working beside her laments her life of poverty and hardship. So there is a very famous sentence, very famous line in this. Where is this? This one. This Hindi line is very, very important. This Hindi line is very, very important. Ek waqt ser bhar khana bhi nahi khaya. So she says that in her entire life, she hasn't eaten a full meal for her entire life. So which goes on to show the impact of poverty. The impact of poverty. Right. So this is what she has achieved. Now, wherever you feel you should, I have given all this is the entire explanation. Wherever you find bold part, this is explanation part. You can stop it and study as per your choice. The cycle of poverty. The cry of poverty and the inability to break free from the bangle making business echoes in every home. Yeah. So each and every home in Firozabad has the similar story to tell. And that similar story is they do not have money to do something else. And as a result, the younger generation is caught in the same cycle as their fathers. When suggested to organize, when you will find in the story, when suggested to organize into a cooperative, they fear police harassment and violence. So this is the case over here. Please pause wherever you like to pause and study. Now, towards the end of this story, we see two distinct worlds and Mukesh's determination to achieve dream. So in this part of the story, what we see, the author says that listening to them, she finds two distinct worlds are depicted. One of the impoverished families burdened by caste and poverty. This is number one. And the other of the middlemen and authorities exploiting them. This is number two. These two worlds impose their baggage on the children who accept it as their fate. Mukesh dreams of Mukesh dreams of becoming a motor mechanic and is willing to walk a long way to learn. The author jokingly asks if he dreams of flying a plane. Mukesh's hesitation reflects his limited dreams, but also his reluctance to regret. So in this part of the story, what you will get to know is two distinct worlds. One of the impoverished families burdened by caste. This is one. And the other is the cycle, the vicious circle that has been created by the middlemen, the authorities who exploit them. And these two, the vicious cycle and poverty, impose their baggage on the children. So the children like Mukesh, who are born in such family, are born with poverty because they are already loaded from previous generation. So under the circumstances when a child is already imposed with baggage of poverty because of the tradition and these middlemen, dreaming to break away from traditions is appreciable. So this is the end of the second part of the story. Now let me briefly show you summary, though I think you must have understood it quite well, and then we will end it. Now, after we have seen the entire story in detail, here is the summary. Though I do not think it is required because I have explained everything in detail. I have given you the presentation, I have included the entire story, I have given you each and every explanation required for becoming not only an excellent student, but you can teach with this much content, you can show your talent as much as you like to, but then also sometimes it so happens that you do not become interested in studying English. So this summary is going to show you all the important keywords. So if you find it difficult to follow the entire story, just pay attention to this summary part and you can write most of the answers by studying this summary only. So what we have seen in the story till now is the chapter Lost Spring explores the lives of underprivileged children. Underprivileged children, example is Sahib, the rag picker, and Mukesh, living in poverty-stricken locations like Simapuri, where lives Sahib, and Firozabad, where lives Mukesh. Through the lens of the narrator's encounters with several young characters, we have seen other rag pickers as well. The story conveys the harsh realities and unfulfilled dreams of these children. What are these unfulfilled dreams of these children? Sahib wants to attend school and Mukesh wants to drive a car. So the author finds that these dreams of such children remain unfulfilled. The story begins with the narrator's encounter with Sahib, a young boy searching for valuable items in garbage dumps. Sahib's family left their rural home due to natural disasters and now live in Simapuri, a squatter settlement on the outskirts of Delhi. Squatter settlement for illegal migrants who came from Bangladesh in 1971. The story delves into Sahib's longing for education, desire for education and a better life, highlighting the challenges faced by the children in similar circumstances. It introduces other barefoot children who scavenge for survival, search for survival, emphasizing their fascination with the discarded items they find and their hopes for better lives. The contrast between the children's dream and their harsh living conditions is a recurring theme. And the latter part of the chapter in the town of Firozabad, known for its bangle making industry. Mukesh aspires to become a motor mechanic despite his family's traditional involvement in bangle making. Child labor and poverty persist as pervasive issues. The story highlights the cycle of poverty, significance of bangles in Indian culture, and the struggle of those caught between tradition and limited dreams. Mukesh's determination to break free offers a glimmer of hope in this harsh environment. And these two paragraphs you read and I become silent. Hope the story must have been very, very clean and clear to you. So here it is. Now we are moving to this part of the lecture. This part is for teachers. How these techniques can help in analyzing a short story, and therefore it will go silently so you can read it, understand it, and note it down somewhere. This is the analysis of the story Lost Spring, Stories of a Stolen Childhood. What is its plot, characters, setting, conflict, theme, tone, point of view, symbolism, foreshadowing, irony, style, and mood. And next follow practice questions made by me. So this is not for this video lecture. This is for those who want to study under me and want to write. So I hope the chapter is thoroughly clear to you all, and the amount of content that I have included has taken more than 15 days for me to research and explain each and every phrase that is given in the story. I hope you must be understanding and do appreciate this attempt. Genuinely, honestly, do subscribe this channel, and as I have promised that English will not be a problem for any student, and if you are interested in teaching English, I think there cannot be a better lecture available than this on YouTube or any other platform. So make use of this lecture. Thank you very much for being with me.